What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to MANIACITV, man. Today, we're going to be checking out why Drake is getting cooked for having new Kendrick diss tracks. Now, I didn't know he had more diss tracks, so I'm going to check this out. This video actually just dropped, came across my recommended page, so we're going to see what it's about, man. Let's get it.
Now, with what Drake has just done, despite the way he has been getting dragged in the media non-stop right now for just consistently pushing the boundaries on how pathetic somebody whose job title is a rapper can be, he is not stopping any of his efforts to remain in the limelight and attempt to try and garner back any fans that he lost. And although every effort of his so far has been continuing to not just fail but make things worse, right now with the latest way Drake is trying to convince people that he is not at rock bottom, has managed to be one of the most confusing and pathetic yet, and as a result, the term crash out at this point is really getting an entirely new meaning.
Listen, I want to say this before we go any further into this video, and I caught a lot of hate for saying this before. Oh well, everybody got their own opinion. This is mine. Drake, for some reason, I've seen a petition, the lawsuit against UMG, I've seen all that. For some reason, I just feel like he's trying to find a reason, trying to find some flaw. Like, listen, bro, just admit it. Drake is one of the greatest of all time, but just admit when you got. Just admit and say, hey, Kendrick, you know what? You got me. I thought that I would have had you, but you got me. You got me. It's okay to take a loss. It's okay to take a loss and to move on. You are still Drake. You can still make the slaps. Stop trying to find reasoning in why you lost. You lost. And bro, I listen to Drake way more than I listen to Kendrick. And I gotta admit that, bro, it's over. The rap battle is over. You lost already, man. And it's okay. Take some time off. Just come back with the slaps. I feel like with Drake, he don't want to admit, like, when you got. You can just say, somebody finally got me. They finally got me. But for some reason, he just don't want to do that.
As a result, the term crash out at this point is really getting an entirely new meaning. Because seriously, with the narratives Drake is trying to push now, and the obvious blatant manipulation that he is trying to win back any respect with, aside from already being the most despised person in hip-hop, even in a genre and art form where redemption has been such a big theme over the years, with what Drake has done, he has really just soiled any chance of ever making a comeback. And now before we get any further into this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, it helps me out a ton. And so now with what we have seen happening regarding Drake, for a change, instead of having himself embarrassing his own name, reputation, and legacy, others are actually going out and doing it for him, whether they realize it or not. And in this time where nobody wants to be seen, associated, or affiliated with Drake, this has changed a little bit, as not one but two major players in hip-hop now are standing alongside him, with the first person being none other than Latto, who did a video for Drake's Nocta brand, where even when trying to hype up the stuff he is working on outside of music, what's very noticeable here is that Drake and his creative team still decided to poke fun at Kendrick Lamar by making an emphasis to talk about how the brand has shoes even for short people, and in the frame when Latto says this, they zoom in on white Air Forces. But now even bigger than this subtle way of trying to make fun of Kendrick, and with someone of Latto's size doing it at that, there has been another person who's not just a star in hip-hop, but really a titan in the industry who has been around for decades, who has seemingly went out and tried to, while not necessarily defend Drake, just as attempted to recontextualize and make his position in his beef with Kendrick look way better than we all saw it out to be. And who did this was none other than 50 Cent. And so now what 50 did was to first off try and frame just how stacked the industry against him is, by looking and talking about—
Okay, I've seen videos of this list. I haven't looked at this yet, but 50 is weird because I thought if anybody would have sided with Kendrick, it would have been 50. But I do remember before Not Like Us and before things really went down for Drake, 50 said that he was on Drake's side and he stood on that. But for what 50 did to Ja Rule, I thought that, and I'm not saying Drake and Ja Rule are in the same situation, but I'm just saying I thought 50 would have like understood it a little more. But let's look at this op list, bro. So this is the Drake op list. We got Absol, of course, TDE, Adidas, Anthony Fontano. I think that's that's the reaction channel. ASAP Rocky, Bobby Althoff, which is, he did an interview with her. Busta Rhymes, of course, Charlamagne the God, #1 Drake hater. Chester, Dave Free, Daylight, DeMar DeRozan. I thought that said Elmo. That's Ebro. Okay. Ebro, Future, Jack Dorsey, Elliot Wilson. My God, Joe Budden. Of course, you got to have Joe Budden on there. Best podcast in the freaking world. JPEG Mafia, Kanye West, Kendrick Lamar. Should have put Kendrick in all caps. Kid Cudi, Kurt Alexander, LeBron James, Lil Yachty, Meg Thee Stallion, Metro Boomin. Omarion. What happened with Omarion? O'Shea Jackson Jr., of course, Ice Cube's son. Peter Rosenberg, Pharrell Williams, Playboy Cardi. I thought he had a song with Playboy Cardi. Why is Playboy Cardi on the list? Puff Diddy. So Diddy, Pusha T, of course. People always overlook Pusha T's Pusha has some pressure for him. Rihanna, Rick Ross, Rockefeller, dang, as a whole. Jay allegedly are into it. Roddy Ricch, I didn't think Roddy Ricch had a problem with Drake. Rory, of course, former castmate on the Joe Budden pod. Russell Westbrook, Schoolboy Q, of course, TDE. Screwface John, bro, Screwface John's on the list. Hey, yo, they put reaction channels on the list. Sean C, yo, hey, yo, I ain't gonna lie, this is lit, bro. To make the list, 50 Cent holding in his hand is crazy. SZA, TDE, the BET Awards, the Grammys, MTV, VMAs, NBA, NFL, The Weeknd, Tyler the Creator, YG. Yo, this list is crazy. Are these really the names? Yo, that's wild. I gotta see the original video. That's
First
wild.
First off, try and frame just how stacked the industry against him
They got reaction channels on the list, bro. Come on.
By looking and talking about a list of seemingly every single person that Drake is against right now, and while this list originated on social media, it is framed as the official list of everyone who Drake has beef with. From the obvious people like Kendrick Lamar and all the artists against him, to even NBA players like LeBron James and DeMar DeRozan, to even some other content creators and legendary hip-hop journalists. While 50 Cent was looking at this and thought it was funny in a way that there is an entire list that someone made to really highlight just how many people are against Drake, the fact that this list has reached the point where it is being printed out, and now with 50 seemingly showing off and going through it, this is going to be taken as the official rulebook of who is really against Drake. And so far,
no. I wanna say we gotta stop this whole, it's the whole industry versus him. Of course he wouldn't win. Listen, let's be real. Rick Ross didn't drop a diss song that would have ended Drake. It wasn't nobody else but Kendrick. Like, everybody's making this whole thing like, of course the odds are stacked against them because everybody in the industry's against them. This ain't We Are the World. It wasn't a song full of 40 people on it that went at Drake. It was one person. And that one person that he kept poking said, hey, Kendrick, when are you dropping? I'm waiting. When are you dropping? I'm waiting. When are you dropping? I'm waiting. Come on, man. So then when Kendrick dropped, now it's, the industry's against him. Yeah, I guarantee there's a lot of people on that list that probably don't really like Drake, and Drake probably don't like them. But DeMar DeRozan wasn't the one that dropped Not Like Us. Yeah, he was in the video. He ain't dropped that, though. So we got to stop that narrative saying that just because a lot of people don't like him, it doesn't correlate with the fact that he's going through a tough time right now because of what Kendrick did to him. I don't know.
Of this are just not good, because if people ranging from Tyler the Creator to LeBron are not on your side, maybe you need to start reflecting on yourself. But we all have known this already, and now what's way more important to what 50 Cent said on Drake's behalf, and what is actually changing the way we looked at the beef and the future of his career against Kendrick Lamar, is that 50 revealed that in Drake's vault of music, he has even more Kendrick Lamar diss tracks that we have never heard. And now what 50 said specifically was that Drake was loaded and ready to go.
And why didn't he drop
new material. There's no way you stop, and you're losing. Nah, I gotta fix this. And now with 50 saying this, putting this alongside all the other context we know and everything this beef has shown us, This is actually revealing to us a lot. And now, first off, going back to a track like Push-Ups. If hearing the DJ Who Kid intro wasn't enough, which for those who don't know was 50 Cent and G-Unit's official DJ, and seeing Drake have an entire G-Unit spinning chain at the beginning of the Family Matters music video didn't help either. With 50 Cent now having actual information about the fact that beyond the tracks Drake released already, he had even more.
So, I kind of believe this. I think after Drake dropped the Heart Part 6, which the beat on that went crazy. The song, the lyrics was kind of like, it's like that. I ain't do that. But after Drake dropped the Heart Part 6, I think he was ready for Kendrick to come back with something else, and then Drake would have continued to drop. But my thing is, Not Like Us took off to the point where I don't think Drake could have dropped anything that would have, I don't know. Do y'all think Drake could have dropped something that was bigger than Not Like Us? But I feel like in his, whatever the diss songs that he's got, Kendrick also said he had 10 diss songs himself. He said, I got 5 plus 5 left for you. And Kendrick is somebody that you can't outsmart because Kendrick is, I don't know what it is. Kendrick is wired different. I don't think you can stop Kendrick.
When you really put the pieces together and see how Push-Ups was a whole
because it's like
track,
he could have dropped another diss song, but then Kendrick would have been 2 steps ahead and dropped freaking 20 minutes later.
Where Drake was saying that with everyone he's going against and with everything he's doing, he is turning into the modern 50 Cent. It's safe to say that 50 wasn't just in the know about what Drake was doing in this time, but he was directly contributing and giving him ideas on where to go. And this isn't the only case of a rapper far removed from the center of the genre saying that they were giving Drake advice during the beef, because just a few months ago, Joe Budden also said that Drake was speaking to him about certain things during the back and forth, which is very telling about the network and echelon of rappers he was trying to hear from when it came to holding his own against Kendrick. But now with 50 saying that Drake had more diss tracks that were ready to go, and with the context of the conversation him and Big Boy were having, which was referring to when Kendrick Lamar dropped 4 entire diss tracks within the span of just a few days.
Crazy.
Overall, this really just poses more questions than it gives answers about Drake, and him being in the booth and having material ready to go. Because with 50 Cent being in the loop with him and on some strong level, offering up advice and direction on where to go and how to make these major diss tracks entire full-fledged moments, as his brand, legacy, and name was directly ingrained in both Push-Ups and Family Matters, and then Drake having confirmed more songs ready to go that were dissing Kendrick after Not Like Us dropped. It makes you wonder why instead of releasing another song about Kendrick that could have redirected attention and saved his legacy, he just went out and wrote the Heart Part 6 as fast as he could instead, which then embarrassed his entire legacy with one of the worst response tracks of all time.
Yeah.
And while all this is jarring, when you think about everything we saw and see how after Kendrick Lamar threw out so many different disses Drake's way lyrically, in such a short period of time that he still hasn't been able to come back from, and remember that the bar Drake already set with his diss tracks was pretty much him calling Kendrick Lamar short every single way he could, and then trying to get a glimpse into his personal life and making some of the worst claims and rebuttals about it, which ranged from him saying Dave Free was the father of one of his kids with no evidence, that Baby Keem writes his own songs when he was playing Minecraft while Kendrick entered the rap game as a top-tier MC, the Mother Eye lines, which I don't even have to get into how bad those are.
Crazy.
And even when he went to an angle as ridiculous to talk about as why Whitney was following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale.
Crazy.
It was clear that even on the songs...
That song, like I said, the beat, the Heart Part 6, Drake's Heart Part 6, the beat was hard. I will say that. The beat was fucking pressure. But it was just a lot of, like, him in the corner defending himself. Like, if I was a PDF file, I would have been arrested by now. Like, and then saying, oh, the Epstein angle, we knew he'd take it. So you knew he was going to call you that? Why would you, what do you mean you knew he'll take that route?
Drake hyped up for months, and that he was saying, we're going to end the career of Kendrick Lamar's as we knew it. That whether he realized it or not, that he already had nothing strong to say about him and was trying to treat Kendrick the same way he did with someone like Meek Mill, and believed that that would work.
And, okay, and the Meek situation, ooh, I don't care how much I'm pausing it. The Meek situation, bro, had Drake done to Kendrick what he did to Meek, and I rock with Meek, my guy. If Drake did to Kendrick what he done to Meek, everybody would have been applauding him. All the people that's making excuses, they would have, oh yeah, because that's what Drake's supposed to do. That's what he do. But now that Drake got it's, I mean, everybody's against him. I mean, it's not fair because it's not fair because, like, come on, man. This is hip hop, bro. This is hip hop. It's a sport. You win, you lose. It is what it is, man. We was all cool with the way Drake did Meek back in 2015, but now that it's getting done to Drake, it's excuses. Now it's, oh, y'all getting paid to say this. Oh, now it's, man, come on.
Similar to what happened with Drake and Pusha T, but just way worse than that, because Kendrick actually has the popularity to take down Drake's massive image. K-Dot was just so prepared and already was able to do so much to shake down his image with just 4 full-on diss songs, that Drake knew that if he took it further and threw more tracks out of his own vault, and of course he already knew that Kendrick said he had even more diss tracks in stock, because he said that directly on Not Like Us, that if those songs already made him the laughingstock of the rap game, if this back and forth continued, it would have managed to somehow make things even worse. And on some level, I do think that that is true. Because if Meet the Grams and Not Like Us were disses number 3 and 4, I don't even think we want to know what diss tracks number 5 and 6 may have been.
I'm saying,
Drake really was the hitmaker that he was once revered as, and wasn't just manipulating the system to get all of his number ones this decade so far for the most part, which I am sure, as he is in his next major situation already with his label, and while he's trying to take down the success of Not Like Us as a whole, we are going to learn a lot more about just how artificially manipulated Drake's stuff has been for a very long time. Altogether, I think knowing this context that 50 has told us, unless Drake is planning to roll some of these songs out maybe around the Super Bowl or when his next album is coming out to try to make that project be a lot more interesting than it would be otherwise, this really solidifies that while he overestimated him at first, as soon as Euphoria released and then everything else happened, Drake was terrified of Kendrick Lamar, and while on the Hard Part 6, Drake may have framed it as a track where he was standing on a high ground over the antics of name-calling and deception, it was really him admitting that for a while, his ability to make a catchy diss record the way he once did with something like Back to Back, or anything in general that would rival Not Like Us, not just from a diss standpoint, but from a melody and vibe standpoint overall, is just absolutely gone. And Drake...
It's gone because Drake got too comfortable. I mean, you gotta look at it. For a while, we weren't getting anything from Cole. We weren't getting anything from Kendrick. It was pretty much just Drake. This big 3 that we talk about, Drake was the most active of the 3. He's collabing with Savage. He's collabing with Dirk. He's collabing with the younger artists. And I feel like he got too comfortable. He felt like, you know, he couldn't be knocked off the hot chair. He couldn't.
Drake knows that he is washed and that he is never going to be able to make something as good and infectious as a moment like that.
Back to Back was crazy.
Further contextualize this, when we look at Drake since CLB really, compared to the way he used to make anthems that the entire world knew and recognized immediately, he actually hasn't had a real hit in years, as whether it's from ghostwriters leaving him or just his own decline as an artist. From a structural level, he can't write songs the same way he used to, because seriously, with every album he has dropped this decade, the biggest songs off every single one of those records came and went as number ones off their initial hype, the features they had attached to them, or the sample that called back to an actual successful hit. And really recognizing this pattern and seeing that there's no...
I mean, that's kind of true, because yes, you could say first-person shooter, but what is there replay value in first person shooter? I'm asking, don't attack me. I'm just asking, because yes, it is a good song, but is it something that you're gonna put on in the car every day on the way to work? Like you did Headlines, like you did Hell Yeah Fucking Right. You could look at Sexy Baby Daddy, or Baby, whatever the song is with Sexy Red. Yeah, it was a huge song, but it's kind of like it came and went. And if anything, it made it seem it was more a Sexy Red song. I mean,
no more Drake anthems that have been released. And then seeing that In the Beef, Not Like Us was such a scathing and infectious diss track that Drake just decided to hold back on his vault of other disses, which with the way 50 talks about here sounded like there was a lot of. Altogether, what we can see is that even with a legend in his corner trying to help him win this thing like 50 Cent, Drake's strategy was so terrible, and whether due to his own overconfidence or just the way he disregarded 50's words maybe, he never thought out how to actually effectively go after Kendrick Lamar, not just lyrically, because again, in hindsight, everything Drake had said fell apart almost on impact, but also in terms of just crafting a diss track in this day and age where these songs hit streaming platforms and become bigger cultural phenomenons than they ever have been before, which is a trend that he started. And overall, while Drake will never admit any of this, of course, all of this really proves that both as an actual MC, competitor, and as a hitmaker and pop star, which is something that Drake and everyone thought he would always have, Drake is beyond washed, and in this time where it's rumored that he
Damn.
wants more than anyone has ever gotten from his label in their upcoming deal that he's trying to make, and this is another reason why he is doing what he is to go against them, it's no surprise that he's not getting his way, because why would you give someone in rap what's the equivalent to a max contract to someone that has shown, despite their stardom years ago, that they are now on one of the biggest declines we have ever seen? And so now with all that said, let me know. What do you think about the news that Drake had more Kendrick Lamar diss tracks, but decided to just hold back on continuing the beef after he dropped The Heart Part 6?
Okay, I'm gonna let
Do
this.
you
I'm
think
gonna let
that in
this.
the future,
I'm gonna let this ride out, and then I got some things to say.
Drake tries to make a comeback actually musically, that we may end up getting an updated version of some of these disses that he's been working on, or do you think we will never hear them at all? Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now, if you want to see how right alongside Drake maybe having more diss tracks behind the scenes, he's also trying to ruin Kendrick Lamar's upcoming tour and is just failing miserably at that, check out the suggested video.
All right, so will we ever hear the diss songs that Drake got allegedly for Kendrick? I don't think so. I think Drake, he won't admit it, but if you dropped another diss song towards Kendrick Lamar, and if Kendrick has something else that's even crazier, like it's like getting your ass whooped in a fight, and then you already lost. So then you get up and then you try to fight some more, and then you get your ass whooped again. And I think Drake fears that. But I am curious as to what is Drake's next move. Personally, and I know this would be the unpopular opinion, but you can use this as a way to pretty much bow out. I wouldn't want to see that happen for Drake, but damn it, you did it all, man. You did stuff that a lot of rappers, anybody, rappers, singers, people from different genres probably won't ever do in their entire career. You've done it all already. Maybe it's time for Drake to bow out. Maybe this could be him going at UMG and probably trying to get a seat on the board or get his masters or whatever he's trying to get from UMG. Maybe he's setting himself up for, you know what, life after rap. I've said it before where I feel after this situation, Drake needs to go MIA. Get off Instagram, get off social media, get out of the clubs, stay home. Just stay home give us a year. Give us a year, maybe two. I understand we only getting older, but you done it a lot. Just take a break. Take a break. Let Kendrick have his time right now. This man's probably going to win a Grammy for Not Like Us. The song calling you all these crazy things. He's performing at the Super Bowl, the biggest show on earth. Performing at the Super Bowl. Let Kendrick have this moment. Then you come back maybe next year, maybe 2026, 2027, and just give us the slaps, man. I know it's an unpopular opinion. I get it. Everybody got their own opinion. I'm not arguing with nobody about this, just so you know. I'm not arguing. You're going to say what you got to say. I understand it's a very fragile topic when we talking about Drake in this way, but it's the facts, man. It's the facts. But I'm curious to see what Drake's next move is, man. What the next song's going to be. Maybe he does try to step on the tour. Maybe he tries to step on the Super Bowl performance, release an album on the day of the Super Bowl. I don't know. But it got to have the slaps. Should he diss Kendrick again? No. I don't think so. If he does, will he? He probably will, you know. Maybe he probably won't drop a name, but he's pretty, you know, send some subliminal shots here and there. But I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it, man. Why Drake is getting cooked for having new Kendrick diss tracks, man. Link down below in the description to Fantastic Hip Hop. Dope video. I'm subscribed to the channel too, man. So salute. And I'll see y'all in the next video, man. Make sure you hit that sub button if y'all rocking with me. And yeah, man, it's your boy MANIACITV. I'm out.